Gentlemen, mic check, mic check. Again, this is the phone booth here on TVOSJ, the voice of San Joaquin and soon to be KBCC Radio. As you might have noticed, we are starting to have some technical difficulties. We are trying to get the sound through to you guys, but for some reason at the moment we're having a lot of difficulties getting that through to you guys. So right now we're really just doing an audio test here in the studio to make sure that we're able to actually hear anything.
Yeah, it's only coming out of one ear, but I am hearing it.
Okay, it's this. Try and give it a clap. It's still down, but
Still a little down?
and we're gonna just kind of have to roll with it.
That's the thing, though, is that I don't know if should we, if they
Yes.
can't hear us, though?
They can hear us, just
Okay.
not out of one ear.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we do apologize for the audio issue, though we are glad that we are actually able to get the broadcast going. It just means we'll have to roll a little bit over the hour, which, I mean, it's not new for us or anything.
Sorry, just give me 1 second. No? Alright.
We're really testing it out to see if we can get this to work. Any improvements on the audio quality?
Well, it's still behind. It's
Okay. Well, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna try and continue this. Anyways, so welcome to the phone booth here on TVOSJ, the voice of San Joaquin, and soon to be KBCC 89.5 FM in Tracy, California. My name is Edward Heitman. Joining me in the studio, as always, are my good friends and co-hosts Brian Rodriguez
hello.
and Parker Spurlin.
Good evening.
Right on. Now, if you are a first-time viewer of the show, or listener, soon to be, the phone booth is a show completely dedicated to the world of pop culture. Anything from movies to video games to TV shows to comic books, you name it, and we will do our very best to cover it. Now, for today's episode, we actually have some juicy stuff to talk about. And now, me being a guy of news, I always love it when we have some real juicy stuff.
It's saucy, like the pan that I came from.
It's doused in A1,
It's
the
a
level of juice
saucy.
here.
It's a saucy boy.
It's a saucy.
It's a saucy boy.
Saucy. We don't
Are
need
you
this.
saucy, Brian?
What?
Are you saucy?
Sure.
Are you
Yes.
saucy?
I'm working on trying to get things shared to the Facebook page.
He's A1, folks. He's A1.
You two banter off each other, and I'll be with you in a second.
Okay,
Have
so
faith in the intergalactic planetary system that we are coming from.
And which one is that?
our solar system?
Well, I mean, it's the other one. You know, the other one. You know, whichever one that Buzz Lightyear was part of.
You know, not this one.
The Galactic Federation, is that the one that Buzz Lightyear was from?
I don't know.
The
Do you guys remember that spin-off?
You know, there's so
No.
many Galactic Federations.
Wait, yes.
You remember that? Yeah,
Yes.
there was a cartoon with Buzz Lightyear.
Buzz Lightyear of Star Command.
Yeah, Star Command. That's what it
Yeah,
was.
that's what it was. I loved that cartoon as a kid.
Years of...
Well, you may have to share it to the Facebook page because my phone is refusing to work. 'Cause
Technology.
hates us.
Technology.
What?
I am
It's
the light.
because of today's episode, I insisted.
It's Big Himalayan.
Big Hammer Lane.
It's
If you had
Big
watched our
Hammer
show
Lane.
previously, a while back, unfortunately I can't find a specific episode because I have so many archives of our past scripts, but a while back we mentioned that a kid in Canada tried buying cannabis using a fake ID. He went by the name of Thor Odinson, and the address that he put down on that card was 69 Big Hammer Lane.
Big
He also
Himalayan.
tried to use Chris Hemsworth's picture.
Yes.
You know.
And after that, after we reported that news bit, I demanded, and I had it set in stone, that today's episode would be titled after that hilarious little bit of news that I heard about.
It's Big Himalayan.
Big Hammer Lane.
It's what we
Big
have.
Himalayan.
Big
Big
Hammer Lane.
Big Himalayan.
Big-
I can't tell if we're trying to do Australian or Mark Wahlberg.
No, it's Taika Waititi. He's Big Himalayan.
Well, yeah, that's New Zealand, though.
Yeah, he's a New Zealander. So he's got a big Himalayan.
Yeah.
But he has a very strong and weird relationship with his hammer.
Now, anyways, Brian, I think you should start off this one. Let's talk about Nintendo Direct.
Nintendo Direct. There's a new one this week where Nintendo talked all about the future of Pokemon. And the future is looking bright. And that
Hey,
was excellent
the
timing.
timing.
We didn't even plan that.
We didn't even plan that. That's
You
just
just
how
know
good we
these
are.
things.
That's how good we are, Caballeros.
So first was the announcement of 2 expansions for Pokemon Sword and Shield. Yes, expansions. They are no longer doing the formula where they used to release a 3rd version of the games, and then they just started releasing sequel versions of the games. Now they're just making expansions.
Do you think they'll have a sequel to the sequel of the prequel? Or maybe the prequel will have a sequel?
I wouldn't be surprised if they did an
That's enough out of
expansion.
you.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did an expansion, which is a combination of the 2 games plus the expansion packs themselves. But this is a first-time deal.
Now,
Yes.
I don't know very much about Pokemon. What does this mean?
Okay, so like with Pokemon, we've never really had DLC that really goes through with Pokemon. Normally, what happens is that we'll get one version, we have the other version, and Pokemon are usually like split apart between the 2. And then later on, we have a 3rd game that comes out that has basically all the Pokemon for both games put in. Like, I believe we had Yellow version with the classics, we had Crystal version with the next gen, we had Emerald with
Yes.
Ruby and Sapphire.
We had Platinum, and then they actually stopped doing that with Generation 5. With Generation 5, there was Black and White, and then they had Black 2 and White 2. And
Yeah.
then there were X and Y, which I don't think they actually did another version. It was just X and Y.
And then wasn't there a Z? I could have sworn.
I
No.
don't think there was a Z.
Okay.
There
You
was,
mean
but-
Zed?
But anyways, this is the very first time that instead of just creating a whole new game, which basically had everything from the old games, they're just doing expansions.
Yeah, and people on the internet are upset about this because it's something happening with Pokemon. So why wouldn't destroying everything? So why
we
wouldn't
all
they be-
we all know why they're really upset. We all know why they're really upset.
Yes.
Because this happens to have a limitation on Pokemon. To an
Stop
extent.
throwing things. For the love of God, stop throwing things. We're trying to do the news, you animal.
That's my pen I threw at
Game
you.
Freak has got to him.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
So here we go. The DLC, the expansions, so whatever you want to call them, they are called Isle of Armor, which will be releasing this June, and then there will be a second one called the Crown Tundra, which will release this fall, probably September, I'm guessing. Both will feature new wild areas. The big You will be quiet, and you will stop throwing things until I am done with this news piece. I swear to God, Parker, I am in no mood for it today. We just got this whole working. Hush.
We're
But
doing
hey,
it live, folks. We're doing it
Who
live.
got it working?
Both will
Anyways.
feature new wild areas and a new rival, which will be different depending on the version. I believe Sword will have a dark type and Shield will have a psychic
No,
type.
those aren't rivals. Those are actually mentors.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
Dark-
because in the Isle of Armor, what you do is that you go to a dojo with this guy who used to hold a title of Pokemon Master. He basically teaches you while you're on the way, and you have a mentor that tags along with you, and the mentor varies depending on whether you have Sword or whether you have Shield.
yeah, but there will also be a new rival. I mean,
Oh, right.
Nintendo released an image with new rival next to these two characters.
That's true. That's
So
true.
I'm guessing this will probably be a different mentee of this
Possibly.
person, given the typing.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it will also feature new
I
raid
got
battles.
my eye on you.
What is wrong with them? And new Gigantamax forms, including ones for your starter Pokemon.
Yes.
Yay! Together, both expansions will cost $30, which
Mm-hmm.
is cheaper than, buying a whole new game, I will point out.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have both versions, you will need to buy it twice, which has put some people off. And I agree that maybe Nintendo probably could have built up a bit more goodwill, because, let's face it, they have lost a little.
Though it should be noted, though, that with the expansion passes and these 2 DLC stories, it also includes new legendary Pokemon for you to encounter.
Yes, they're also. I believe they've confirmed one at least for the Crown Tundra. I don't know about other ones,
Yeah,
but
they
they
could-
are like brand new Pokemon
Yeah.
legendaries.
So this is an actual question. Can you catch them all?
Yeah.
well,
Well, not with Sword and Shield.
we're getting closer though, because along with all this brand new content, they will be adding 200 Pokemon from previous games. Will be added across both expansions. Now, when the expansions come out, regardless of if you own them, you could transfer them into Pokemon Sword and Shield via Pokemon Home if you caught them in other games.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to catch them in the game, you will need to own the DLC. Now this role.
I believe they mentioned that an expansion pass isn't necessary to trade the Pokemon. You need an
No,
expansion pass to catch them.
No, that's what I just said.
Oh, okay, right. Sorry.
And if you want to catch them all, get Raid Shadow Legends.
That's enough out of you.
No raid, no
Okay.
raid. They've had
Now-
enough. They've had enough advertising.
Now-
Raid, stay out of our show.
Yeah,
Now,
they stay out.
It's unclear how the rollout of this Pokemon will be, if it will just be a lump that comes with the DLC, because the first of these Pokemon actually released this week in the form of the Galarian Slowpoke. which looks like Slowpoke if you dump some mustard on it.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know why Slowpoke. I mean, I kind of like him because he's an adorable idiot, but... So you can catch a Galarian Slowpoke, which looks like he just rubbed a little mustard on his head and tail.
You know, I don't think PETA is going to like this.
PETA's never liked Pokemon.
PETA doesn't like anything.
They made 2 different Pokemon games themselves.
Yeah.
Now, you can catch this regardless if you own the DLC, but in order to evolve it, you will need to own both DLC. With the first DLC having it being able to evolve into Slowbro, and the second one will have the evolution item needed to evolve it into Slowking, which I believe was the Crown Rock in previous games. There was a rock that looked like a crown. I don't remember the exact name.
Yeah, and I believe in the concept art, they kind of teased that there might be an extra form or something. And while they were showing the different forms of Slowpoke, they also showed like a silhouetted character with like an arrow going up to it. So there might be an extra evolution to it, or a Gigantamax form.
I think what it was is they're just hiding the Galarian evolution.
That is also true.
Because this is, just the Galarian versions, because that's a thing.
Yeah, if you're not up to speed with Pokemon, like our friend Parker here, if you play Sword and Shield, there's a lot of Pokemon.
I'm sorry, I just don't find Pokemon all that fascinating.
And you have every right to. You have every right to feel that way, bud.
You know what? No, he threw things at me. He doesn't have the right.
Oh yeah, well
you will be fascinated.
Are you gonna be?
Act intrigued, Parker. Act intrigued.
Acting.
Are you Tom? Actor, thespian.
Now, and we have one more piece of Pokemon news. Finally, a remake of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team Red and Blue is coming to Switch, called Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX.
Now, this one is not like your regular Pokemon games, okay?
It is a roguelike.
This is more of an RPG.
It's a roguelike RPG with Pokemon. It's amazing. Yes. And luckily this time there won't be 2 versions. It'll just be the 1DX version. It's releasing March 6th, and there's actually a demo currently available on the Switch.
The thing is... Yeah, it sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Why not?
Sure.
Let's go with it.
Yeah, Mystery Dungeon was definitely an interesting Pokemon game. It's a different one. Well, with every other one you played as a trainer, with this one you basically take a personality test and you end up waking up one morning as a Pokemon.
Yeah.
And you go on this whole adventure with other Pokemon and everything as part of a rescue team to rescue Pokemon that are in danger.
It's back when they had a lot of weird Pokemon, like the Rescue Ranger series.
Yeah.
And the
That's why how people care about Pokemon.
I'm gonna start drawing on you.
More than
draw a Pokeball. You deserve
There's so many ways that could have been misconstrued.
Actually,
Ow.
no. Draw a Pokeball. That's
okay. You know what? Okay.
Okay.
Anyways.
We got through that. He tried to derail us like 20 different times.
Yes, I did. It's my job.
Luckily, Parker, we're done talking about Pokemon.
Thank goodness. We can get on to the other thing that
Let's
I hate
talk
more
about
than Pokemon, which is GameStop.
Yeah.
Well, this one's barely about GameStop, other than GameStop is very bad at keeping any form of secret.
GameStop. As our friend Ira Ford had related, it's basically the Blockbuster of the gaming industry.
Shout out to Ira. Shout out to Ira.
He might not be in the office no more, but if he is,
shout out to him. He'll see it.
Shout outs.
Why did you drop Okay. This actually looks like the
Ed
Crimson Dawn. The Crimson Dawn symbol from.
Okay.
That's too cool.
That's sick.
Anyways, a GameStop listing.
Yeah, I got this one.
Okay, yeah. Well, then let's get to it.
GameStop. I'm watching you. A GameStop listing may have leaked the title of the next Assassin's Creed game. A listing was found for Assassin's Creed Ragnarok. I wonder what that could entail. Which would fit the game's rumored Norse setting.
Yes.
So, yeah, what a surprise, Ragnarok.
Now, I do have to admit, I haven't really been in the whole behind-the-scenes thing since a few years ago, so I don't know if GameStop's had a reputation for leaks or anything like this.
It's nowhere near the worst, but it has done it more than once, I believe. Actually, GameStop. Actually, there's not one place that does it a lot.
I mean, it's a soulless company, so.
Well, yeah, GameStop does it. The South Korean ratings board actually does it a lot. And I remember about 2 years ago, a Canadian Walmart, the listing for their games up on their Canadian website, leaked a whole bunch of stuff, like Rage 2 before that was even announced.
Oh, wow.
It's insane because the marketing for this has to be planned so far in advance. And these companies have to be given so much notice that it's sort of a miracle that more games don't leak.
Right.
The thing that, it doesn't surprise me that this happened, because,
honestly.
You know what? I'm not really. It's not shocking.
Yeah, to be fair, this is like the title was the one piece of this game that hasn't leaked at some point. We've known for a while it's going to have some sort of Norse Viking setting.
Yeah.
For a while it was rumored to be called Assassin's Creed Kingdom, but Kingdom may have just been a code name for development.
And you know what? I'm actually kind of tired of this whole Norse thing. I mean, it started with Thor, and then all we've seen it. The only time I was like, "Oh, that's interesting," was in God of War.
Yeah, see, God of War could do it well because they could get really into the mythology. But we've already had Vikings from Ubisoft. It's called For Honor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I was thinking too. Is For Honor.
I mean,
it's not. It doesn't have the AC stamp.
Yeah, and that's I mean, I'll probably play it because I've actually been really liking the new direction of the most recent Assassin's Creed.
I'm gonna be honest. I have every single Assassin's Creed game. I mean, the main before, so we don't get all snippety snip about this one. The main titles, and I mean the ones that have come out for the main system.
I got snippety snip about it, did I?
Yes, you did, because you got snippety snip because we talked about ones that you know what, like probably I'm gonna be honest, like how many of us like 85%, maybe 85% of us haven't played, like Chronicles.
You want to see snippety snip? Want to see snippety snip?
Don't take my pen.
We're live, folks.
Pen.
We're doing it live.
My pen, you heathen!
I got it.
God, you pleb. So
I got 2 pens now.
He's got 2 pens. So, but I want to say that I like that it's. I mean, I did like Origins, and I did like Odyssey. Felt like it was a little carbon copy, but okay. I mean, most of these games are. They just take a different time setting.
Nick Wright is tuning in regarding the new Assassin's Creed game, saying that it's been leaked multiple times over the last several months.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's not a surprise. So.
And this is, I believe IGN said this was the 14th game in the series that got leaked before announcement.
Somehow, like I told you guys in the group chat, I honestly think that it's almost intentional sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, oops, we kind of leaked it, but hey, if you get us some press, that'd be nice.
There have been
There's
a
no
lot
such
of
thing as bad press.
So many Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah. I mean, let's go through the main canonical one. Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, Assassin's Creed Revelations, Assassin's Creed 3, Assassin's Creed Rogue, Assassin's Creed, let's see, Unity, right? That came after Rogue. Oh, no, Assassin's Creed 4. Assassin's Creed 4. Assassin's Creed Unity came after that.
So let's see, there was one.
That seems to be fine.
Okay, okay, never mind. Okay, for some reason...
What is happening?
What is happening? For some reason on my stream it said the live video was interrupted.
I probably realized no one cared about us counting Assassin's Creed games.
It's fine. It's fine. Let's go through it again. Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, Assassin's Creed Revelations, Assassin's Creed 3, Assassin's Creed 4, Assassin's Creed Rogue, Assassin's Creed Unity, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Assassin's Creed Origins, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It's 11 right there.
Yeah.
And then that's not. And the other 3 ones are from.
Yeah, probably like Liberation.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if they were counting like the remakes that they tried to keep secret, like the 3 remake and all that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot the 3 out of remake.
So they had a lot of these. I mean, I'm going through again. Like I said, I'm going through a complete playthrough of all the Assassin's Creed, starting from the original one all the way up to Odyssey, and that's been that's been a challenge. So.
Well,
how many times? Yeah.
Now that we've said Assassin's Creed so much that it doesn't even sound like words anymore, let's switch over to Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Another thing that I'm okay. Just okay. I
noticed that a lot of people have kind of been like that too after the whole Infinity Saga wrapping up. Like we're all just kind of like, just okay with any new Marvel announcements.
It's done to me.
It's done.
It's done. I'm good with it. If they had stopped at an Endgame, go.
About 20 years of my investment was put into the whole thing.
20?
20?
Yeah, I don't know why I said 20.
It
feels like 20, doesn't it, though?
It does.
Feels like eons. I was 9 when the first Iron Man came out.
Yeah.
I'm 21 now. Do the math on that one.
I think I've seen all of them in theaters except for The Incredible Hulk and Ant-Man 2.
I saw all of them in theaters.
I haven't seen The Incredible Hulk. I still need to watch Ragnarok. I haven't had a chance yet. And then I just need to watch Black Panther, and I've seen everything.
Black Panther.
So, but anyway, getting to the Marvel movie we're talking about. So Scott Derrickson, the director of the first Doctor Strange movie, he was scheduled and all signed up to direct the second one. Except now he isn't. he has left Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which I'm going to call Doctor Strange 2 from now on, because that's just a mouthful.
Yeah.
Strange too.
Yes, so both he and Marvel released statements confirming he was leaving, citing creative differences. Derrickson will remain as an executive producer on the film. Now, these creative differences, we don't know exactly what they are, but we have actually been able to see what they might be through certain interviews. Because Scott Derrickson has, since the announcement of it, been saying that this is going to be, a horror movie. And, a Marvel horror movie, so not full horror, but it will have
Gothic horror elements.
Yeah, gothic horror elements. But then Kevin Feige's been coming out and saying, well, it's not going to be a horror movie. It might be, scarier, but it's not going to be a horror movie.
Like the first one wasn't trippy?
Well, the first one was trippy, not necessarily scary.
Yeah.
But it appears that because Kevin Feige is Kevin Feige got his way, and the creative differences may be that it will not be a horror movie anymore, just a scarier Marvel movie.
And that's kind of a bummer, because if there was any Marvel movie out there that has the potential to be a horror flick, it would be a Doctor Strange movie, because he tackles magic and whatnot.
Yeah, and multiverse.
Exactly. That just bad, scary things happen with that.
But I think a lot of people were, from what I remember of Doctor Strange when it first came out, it seemed like a lot of people were kind of underwhelmed with it, and I don't know why.
I think it was because it was another origin story.
Yeah,
and
it was
many of them.
because guess what? You gotta introduce them somehow.
Every character intro has had that. Remember when Guardians of the Galaxy first came out? Everybody was like, "Who the heck is the Guardians of the Galaxy?"
But look at Spider-Man. We didn't need an origin movie for him.
Well, that's because we have heard his story 1,000 times.
Yes, because he's one of the staple heads of Marvel.
With
Doctor Strange, he falls more into a niche market.
At a certain point, the origin stories for Marvel have gotten so formulaic. It's person gets powers. Fights bad guy with same powers to them, but evil.
Person doesn't want powers. Mentor figure tells them they need to use their powers for good. Person becomes hero.
Well, you know what?
It gets boring after a while. Spencer says we're getting like 3 of these a year.
You have any idea how many times I've had to hear the Uncle Ben story here?
I mean, even at least Captain Marvel, while it was an origin story, it played around with the formula a bit.
Yeah.
Oh,
Terry Wells Brown asks, can you guys explain origins?
Okay.
Which one?
Just origins in general is like the origin story, like what made the person
beginning of a character's story.
Yeah,
in the superhero world, it's usually it starts off with something bad happening to the person.
It's Spider-Man getting bit by a spider and Uncle Ben dying.
It's Doctor Strange losing his ability with his hands and then going to the Mystics and getting those back.
It's Batman's parents being killed over and over, sometimes in slow motion depending on the director.
And then it's
Uncle Ben always dying, and great power comes great responsibility.
A lot of old people dying in origin stories.
It's a strange thing, but that's the idea in superhero origin stories. I mean,
Terry asks, what is this in Marvel? Is it like a universe in Marvel? And no, the origin isn't necessarily like anything specific. Origin just kind of applies to any superhero and whatnot, though it should be noted that Marvel in its own universe and whatnot.
Yes, it's more of a storytelling concept than anything, but we got it in Iron Man, we got it in Captain America, we got it kind of in, and it's at a certain point, by the time we got to Doctor Strange in 2016, we'd been getting them for like 8 years at that point, and we were just bored of it.
Yeah, Terry's got the hang of it. She's starting to understand it.
Yeah, and it's like, that's just, and after I will agree, after 20 movies of the same thing, the only one that didn't really, because it's not really an origin story to me, it's just like, here are these characters, which is we actually didn't get an origin story for these guys, Guardians of the Galaxy. It's the sequel was actually an origin story.
Yeah,
because it tells you more about Peter Quill's
Star-Lord,
but it was still the story of how the team got started. Whereas you get the new Spider-Man, where it's just he's Spider-Man. We get vague hints at his origin because we all know it. It's Spider-Man. He's already been doing this for like a year now.
Yeah, he's Spider-Man.
And it feels sometimes like Marvel doesn't trust the audience to understand. Like, okay, this guy's a wizard. That's cool.
Yeah. But I'm glad. But I will say, because I think, as tired as it gets, I'm glad that I got a Doctor Strange origin story.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known where he came from.
Yeah.
And I think
You
that's
know.
the case with a lot of the heroes in the MCU. Like, they really do a good job of, like, giving the origin story to the audience who don't necessarily read the comics.
And I was fine with that one.
Yeah.
I got tired. Yeah, I was the Iron Man one I was good with, but the Hulk and
like, with
Spider-Man I got tired of.
Yeah, because, like, one of my favorite origin stories in the MCU would have to be Captain America with Steve
Because
Rogers and
let's
whatnot.
not forget that the Hulk 2003 was a thing,
Oh, yeah.
and that was by John Woo.
And it.
Yes.
John Woo?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh.
John
I
Woo.
thought it was. Wait, no, that wasn't John Woo.
That was John Woo. Look it up.
Anyways, let's go on to our next little topic here. Let's step out of Marvel for a second and let's step into DC. Now, if you've been tuning in to our show every now and then, you know that we've been talking about a possible movie for The Flash. And we say possible because even though it's been confirmed and then canceled, then confirmed and canceled so many times. But we actually have some story info to talk about this time. Andy Muschietti, current director of the Flash movie, has
It
stated...
was Ang Lee.
Ang Lee, I'm sorry.
I knew you were wrong.
I'm sorry.
Lee.
I thought it was John Woo that did that one.
No, it's Ang Lee.
Anyways.
Which one else did he do? Was another movie that he did?
I don't know. I don't keep track of John Woo. John Woo does his own stuff.
I mean, no, I'm talking about Ang Lee.
Oh, Ang Lee's done a bunch of stuff.
What did he do?
Ed, we're talking about Ang Lee now. We can wait to talk about The Flash in a second.
Yeah, because that's a flash
Yeah,
in the pan.
we can wait a second here.
I made a good joke there. I made it funny.
You
I didn't mean
made-
to do it.
Let's see. He did the 2000 Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Oh, that was a good one.
He did Brokeback Mountain. That's his
That's
big
a good one.
He did Life of Pi. He did
Really?
Gemini Man.
We don't talk about that. Gemini Man.
Oh,
that's hot. That's hot.
but his big one is really Brokeback Mountain.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, anyways, let's talk about the Flash in the Pan.
Now,
that
I'm
is
going
the
to talk
Flash.
about the Flash.
Okay.
Because I got interrupted about Ang Lee.
That's more interesting than the Flash at this point in time. The movie, not the character, the movie.
Okay.
Because this has been in and out. Okay, the Flash is.
Stick my middle finger up your nose and poke
Now,
it in the brain.
this is something that was already kind of we already kind of knew, but now it's confirmed, I guess. Though I thought it was already confirmed.
That
But
was like 2 directors ago.
yeah, Andy Muschietti, current director of the Flash movie, has stated that the movie will still be based on the Flashpoint storyline, which is why you, for a while at least, when you were to look
Wait.
up the Flash movie for 2019, when it was originally 2019, the only image you got was a Flashpoint version of Batman in a poster.
Can I ask something as a non-DC?
You want
fan?
me to explain Flashpoint?
No, I don't. I know that one.
Okay.
But the one that I'm wondering about. This is more about the. This is more about the lore.
I guess we're doing this now.
Take it away, bud.
The best time to wear a striped sweater.
Well, I'm gonna have to explain
Okay,
Flashpoint
so-
anyway because
no,
the
hey,
audience will want to know.
Yeah.
Give me a second. Is the Flash is the Flash show canon?
It is not canon to the film universe.
It's
Okay.
canon to the Arrowverse.
Yes.
CW,
And the Flash show has
see,
already
this
done
is-
Flashpoint as a storyline.
Just know that DC has multiple universes, and the CW shows are all in their own universe called the Arrowverse.
And
See-
they're actually in the universe with all other DC.
Okay, you want to know
properties
why I
pretty
like
much, except
the MCU a little bit better?
Hmm.
Because everything in that is canon.
Well, you say that,
everything-
but Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is actually no longer a part of the MCU.
And it used to be, but let's before that. But you know, it used to be everything used to be canon, okay? And I like that. Now I have to do but in DC, no, the show isn't part of the isn't canon. It's canon to the Arrowverse though, which is totally different. See, I don't like that. It's just
Well,
one.
Well, imagine.
One.
I mean, there's a bunch of Marvel
You got
animated
one.
shows going on that aren't canon to the MCU. Just think of it
But
like
there's
that.
those are cartoon shows.
And cartoons can be
Yeah.
good.
I mean, they're good. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is that I'm guessing you're talking about the ones on Disney and XD.
Yeah. Plus, there are cartoon shows in
Those-
the Arrowverse.
Yeah, and I know that there's been. Give me a second. I know that there's been graphic, not cartoons. They're like
Animated?
And there's been animated series specifically for the like heavy comic book users,
Yeah.
and that's fine. But the
Users.
comic book users, yes,
Mhm.
I'm one of them. Very slight. I dabble in it.
Just roll it up and stick it straight in the.
Yeah, it's just
Straight up your nose.
yeah, like it was a common drug.
Oh,
you-
that's a good life out. No one would actually say
Frank
that.
Frank Miller. Thank you for Batman. The Dark Knight Returns. But that's the one, right?
Yeah,
I
that's the
remember.
only one we talk about anymore.
Yeah.
It's the least racist of his works.
But didn't he do work for the one? I'm trying to remember. It's the one where Jason Kidd is as Robin.
Jason Todd?
Jason Todd. Sorry, Jason Todd is Robin, and he's been beaten by the Joker.
No, that was Death in the Family.
Yeah, Death in the Family.
I don't think that was Frank Miller.
I thought I could be wrong again, but he could
be wrong.
Looking it up.
I thought he did. I thought he had not. He wasn't directing. He wasn't part of the actual one doing it, but he was He was doing he was co-working with someone on it. But anyways, I'm getting really tired of the the cartoons are for the kids. I was going back to my point. The Disney ones are specifically made for kids, and there's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong. There's animated series for the adults as well. Like they're very much a split, and that's fine. But we all know that the ones on Disney XD are for kids. They're targeted towards kids. That doesn't mean parents.
Yes,
they're targeted towards kids. While the other anime and that's fine. I have no problem with that. And as we've grown up, we know that that's not really canon. We know that. All right. It's just we assume the role that it's not canon unless we're told otherwise.
We assume the role that it's not canon, but now that the fact that Marvel and DC are going full multiverse, basically everything is canon in its own little universe, part of the grand multiverse.
Yeah, unless we're told otherwise, like Star Wars: The Clone Wars, which was really good, but Star Wars Rebels.
Like an example of something Marvel that wouldn't be canon is the upcoming What If series, because those are what if scenarios.
Yes, but given that they're introducing a multiverse, it is possible that
It is possible that those are connected.
But anyway, getting back to Flash, which
because you have to explain Flashpoint, another situation with multiverses.
So actually, no, it does not involve multiverses.
Alternate realities.
Yes, so the Flashpoint timeline is Barry Allen, the Flash, starts missing his mother, who died when he was a boy. So he goes back.
Wait. Terry Wills Brown is asking a very important question.
Good.
She wants to know what canon means.
So canon means that it's part of the main story, okay?
Yeah.
It follows everything in the main story. So when someone says it's canon, it takes place at the same time the actual events of the original content is taking place. For example, so let's take a look at, for example, Star Wars. So let's say the 4, 5, and 6, those are the original main ones that everything is based off of, right? So the prequels 1, 2, and 3 are canon.
Yes.
Because those are connected to 4, 5, and 6. The animated show Star Wars, the Clone Wars, is canon because
partially.
What's not canon in that?
They have decanonized certain early episodes and the original Clone Wars series. See, this is why.
Basically,
wait, the original Clone Wars.
Yeah, the Gennady Tartakovsky, that's no longer canon.
Wait, what should it? Hang on, 1 second, guys. What's not canon?
The 2003 Clone Wars series.
Okay, that's fine. So
basically, in layman's terms, like if it's canon, it means it's okay. So if it's not canon, it means it's fiction. It never happened.
No,
it's not
everything's
accurate.
fiction, but
Well, I mean, like in that world,
but
that event is a work of pure fiction.
Yeah.
But like in Star Wars terms, like there used to be the big expanded universe of all these stories that were set in Star Wars before Disney bought it. But now they are no longer canon because Disney said, they're not actually a part of the story anymore. Here's the new stories.
A partial contribution to the fandom menace, unfortunately.
So when you say something when you say something's canon, it applies to. It's like making it common knowledge for the rest of us. But going off a set standard. That's what it does. It gives us a standard of the story, so people aren't just making up stuff. Because there's a lot of fan fiction, but those don't take place during the actual story. Those are just things that people came up with. But if the company, if George Lucas said, oh yeah, that happens, like if the creator said, oh yeah, that happens in my universe, then it
That's
happens.
canon, yeah.
And Star Wars used to have 6 different levels of canon.
Yeah.
It was complicated. But getting back to Flashpoint, I'm going to describe this storyline no matter what you do.
I'm going to stop you. No.
And yes, Terry, the original storyline is indeed canon.
Yeah,
Yes.
every movie, except for the Clone Wars animated one, is canon.
Yes.
Every live-action Star Wars movie is absolute canon.
Star Wars from episode
Above
1 to
anything
episode
else.
9 is canon.
Yep.
Now,
So,
Flashpoint.
Flashpoint is the Flash goes back in time to save his mother, and in doing so breaks the world. To the point where they've never actually adequately explained how all these changes happened from him saving one person. Basically, Aquaman and Wonder Woman are at war. Bruce Wayne died as a child, so his parents have become Batman and the Joker. Batman also uses guns. Superman crashed into Metropolis instead of Kansas, killing thousands and being captured by the government. Again, no real explanation how the Flash saving his mother affected the trajectory of Superman's pod.
I can explain it all.
The butterfly effect.
It's
That's
independent variable. It's independent variable reliance, I think is what it's called. Basically, the butterfly effects, cascading causes from minute effects ripple off into major differences. It's actually a mathematical thing. I know that.
So by saving his mother, he altered the spin of the Earth. So Superman.
Think about it. Flash, if he saved his mother, maybe he doesn't become the Flash. You know.
But Superman would have also landed before he saved his mother.
We don't know how it affects it. That's how chaos theory works.
Comic book
Minute
logic.
Scales become huge things.
It doesn't actually make sense, but we're moving on.
This is a comic book story, ladies and gentlemen, mind you. Not all comic book stories have accurate 100% logic behind it.
No, they're just stories.
But anyway, so eventually the Flash fixes the timeline. He has to let his mother die. It's all sad. But when he comes back to, the proper timeline, things have changed, which in comics led to the New 52 relaunch, which was so bad it eventually had to essentially be undone in the comics.
We don't talk about the New 52. They really tried to ruin Lobo.
Action 52.
They ruined so much. In the Flash TV show, it ended up with one of the characters on Arrow's child's gender changing, and one of the Flash's supporting characters' brother dying. Otherwise, not a lot changed there. And in the movies, who knows? Maybe it'll be an excuse to completely relaunch the universe, because that's kind of what we thought it was going to be back when all the movies were bad. But now that we've actually got some good ones like Wonder Woman and Aquaman and Shazam, you know what? People like Aquaman.
I'm sure they do.
And yes, I insist on pronouncing it that way.
Why?
Aquaman.
Aquaman.
Sorry, every time I think of Aquaman, I think of the counterpart from Bad Boys, or the boys.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
the submariner.
Yeah.
The Deep.
The Deep. Yeah, the Deep. I think of the Deep because, well, I don't know. I just think of him. I mean, it's supposed to be that way. But
anyway, Flashpoint, a storyline that was okay, made no sense if you actually thought about it, but was used to reboot the universe, which is maybe how they'll be using it here. In the movies, which is what we were originally talking about like 10 minutes ago. We spent way too much time on one news piece. It's literally one sentence, and it's taken the longest amount of time.
During the interview, Suicide Squad director Dave. Let me restart that. During an interview, Suicide Squad director David Ayer revealed that his Gotham City Sirens movie has been put on hold.
Not to be confused with the upcoming Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad 2016 director David Ayer.
And also, man.
Yeah.
So Gotham City Sirens, for those of you that don't know, is a team-up of Batman villains, always female. It's typically Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, and Catwoman is usually the main roster, I think.
I believe
Catwoman.
so.
Mm-hmm. Now, It seems that apparently this movie was put on hold in order to make Birds of Prey, which is a Harley Quinn-led superhero movie with an all-female cast. Basically, they had to choose one or the other with a near-identical premise, and they chose Birds of Prey.
I'm hearing a bit of aggravation with that statement.
I don't actually mind Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn that much, and if she were to get her own solo movie, I'd be happy. What I don't like is the fact that they took Birds of Prey, a team I actually really like, and have now made it the Harley Quinn movies guest starring the Birds of Prey.
Yeah, it honestly...
I wasn't really impressed with her character in Suicide Squad. But that's not because of Margot Robbie's performance. I think it has to do with just the writing and the directing of it.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't find that... I feel like she was just kind of very shallow, so there wasn't anything to her as much, and I wish it was different. I wish she was a little bit more in depth. I mean, that was but that's a criticism I have for the whole movie, which every character was just kind of put him in, put him in. You know, it was
Yeah.
like, put him in, put him in.
I feel when I watched the original Suicide Squad, I felt that with Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, even though she had potential, it's like they only wanted to give her one-liners and
Yeah.
quick little snappy
And-
comebacks.
Okay.
Because you're supposed to be lol random. 'cause
Yeah.
that's-
And let's not
That's
forget that
profitable now.
And let's not forget that version of Suicide Squad is kind of having the same problem that the Birds of Prey is having. While it was partially a Suicide Squad story, while also simultaneously having to be kind of a Joker story.
Yeah.
They just didn't want to give Joker his own standalone film.
Yeah, I just give these and DC has been they have outright stated that Harley Quinn is pretty much their most important character to them right now.
Yeah.
So give her her own movie.
She has an animated series, and that's doing pretty good.
Yeah,
from
if
what
you
I
guys
heard.
want to, if you guys really want to make her that, then just give her her own movie and don't
Yes,
follow
please,
anybody else.
Please stop shoehorning her into these other movies because I'd love an actual Birds of Prey movie.
And that's
Yeah.
one
but that
thing.
doesn't look like what we're getting.
And that's what I like about movies like Civil War from Marvel is because it feels like an ensemble. It's not. It's about these characters and not just about one specific character.
Mhm.
It's an ensemble cast, and I like that. So, I mean, if you're gonna do an ensemble cast, do an ensemble cast.
Right.
Otherwise, just don't have it. You know, no one wants to be shoehorned in. Like no one wants these people to just be shoehorned in. You're doing a disservice to the people who actually like these characters and grown up and like these characters. By just shoehorning them in and just making them very surface level. Other than oh, they look like them. They just why would you do that? So that's my thing.
So Dennis Haysbert, who is best known for playing President Palmer on 24, and If You Live in America, he was the
Are you in good hands?
narrator of the Allstate insurance commercials, where he has always this deep gravitas. He has been cast in the final season of Lucifer. Now, who would this, great sort of imposing actor with authority and gravitas be cast as playing?
We all know.
Well,
We
none
all
other
know.
than
We
Lucifer's
all know.
daddy, God.
God.
That show is in good
He's
hands.
God.
Yeah, he's literally been cast as God.
They should have done.
I feel
they
like-
didn't pull an Bruce Almighty and cast Morgan Freeman.
No.
That's surprising.
I feel like anybody would feel kind of tickled at the fact that they got the role of God in a show. Just the fact that you get
Especially since he's the guy who keeps you in good hands. He will keep you in good hands.
Terry Wells Brown seems surprised that we're near the final season of Lucifer.
Yes, so it
Yeah.
got canceled on Fox, but then Netflix brought it back for another season that did super well, and then they got renewed for a fifth and final season just so... I think it's really just so the creators can end the story without having to worry about...
But the question is, where's Rizzoli and Isles?
Fun fact, though, Lucifer makes a cameo in Crisis.
That's
Yes,
a reference many of you probably will not get, but that's okay.
Yes, he appears in the Arrowverse Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover, where it is confirmed that the Fox Netflix show is part of the CW Arrowverse canon.
Gotta love how far Crisis reaches out.
I'm still trying to dissect the Watchmen billboard in that. And
I
the
want a show.
implications.
I want a show that has Nathan Fillion starring as Nathan Fillion, who just does Nathan Fillion.
I'm pretty sure that's the Rookie.
And then I'll watch
Yeah,
The Rookie.
that's pretty accurate right there. Yeah.
I feel like we should just have a show about Nathan Fillion.
And for our final news piece, we have a bit of an update on the Xbox and its future.
Which Xbox are we talking about here, Brian? 'Cause-
Both the Xbox One and the Series X, because Microsoft Studios had Matt Booty during an interview said that Xbox first-party games will be on both Xbox One and the Series X for at least a year after the new console's launch. This is to make sure that people that say buy an Xbox within the next year still feel like they're making a good investment in their hardware.
Believe it or not, I'm walking on air.
It was also announced that the Xbox Play Anywhere initiative, where certain Xbox games can be, if you buy them on, say, the actual Xbox, you could also play them on the PC. That will also be continuing into the next generation of consoles.
right on.
Yeah.
So wait, backwards compatibility?
They have also confirmed backwards compatibility, and I believe they've confirmed it all the way back to the original Xbox games. But the Play Anywhere is different from backwards compatibility. It's essentially just... It's like a cloud save thing. Like if you were to say buy Crackdown 3 on the Xbox, you could also go to your PC.
I don't know
download it
why
and
you would
play.
buy
Well,
Crackdown 3, but
that's the most
The
current
hard. Yeah.
Xbox first party I can think of, which is kind of sad because it's almost a year old. Anyway,
Yeah.
and disappointing.
Honestly, I'm not too surprised anymore with backwards compatibility. I mean, I believe the upcoming PlayStation console PS5 said they were going to try and do backwards compatibility.
That's a rumor, and the rumor is that it will be able to play all the way back to the original PlayStation, but that hasn't been confirmed
okay, so
yet.
Xbox is the only one that's actually confirmed this.
Yeah, Xbox has
Okay.
confirmed it. PlayStation
It just
is
works.
We do not quote him
It
when it comes to good news.
It
Yes.
just works.
Don't curse Xbox with this.
Don't jinx them.
They're actually doing pretty well in everything except games.
The last thing we need, Parker, is 16 times the details.
16 times. 4 times the space. But anyway, we're going to come at you with top 10 trailer... well, it's not 10, but it's top of these ones. Top trailer...
Yes.
Tips on the top trailer talks. Here we go.
Now, I only got to watch one of these trailers, so with the
So
other
did
one...
I.
Yeah.
Wait, did anyone actually watch the New Mutants trailer?
I didn't
No.
get a chance to. No.
Okay, we'll talk about that tomorrow.
We'll have to
'cause-
talk about that on
Yeah.
Sunday. We're professionals, people. We're trained professionals.
We are
We're
hot
professionals.
mess. But, you know,
Anyways, let's talk about
that's
the...
any different.
Set my head on fire.
Let's talk about the second trailer for The Birds of Prey. And there's the rest to it, but I always get it wrong, so I'm just going to stick with Birds of Prey.
Birds play trailer.
Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of Harley Quinn.
There you go.
Starring Margot Robbie, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Journey
Smollett Bell.
Smollett.
Smollett
Is
Bell.
it Smollett or Smollett?
It's Smollett. I keep saying Smollett.
I don't know if you're just saying it to
Hey,
mess
it's
with
not
me.
an I
Johnny
in there.
Smollett Bell.
But
Where
was
do you
it-
see the eye?
But it wasn't the other guy who had Smollett. Smollett.
What other guy?
What other guy?
I don't know.
Are you talking about Jussie Smollett?
Yeah.
He's
It's
all-
Smollett.
No, it's pronounced Smollett.
Is it really?
Yes. Oh my. Anyway, Journey, Smollett Bell, Rosa Perez, and others.
Directed
Directed
by
by
Kathy
Yan.
Yan.
U.S. release date is February 7th. God, that's close.
That synopsis. After
Whoa, that is
splitting
really
with
close.
after splitting with the Joker, Harley Quinn joins superheroes Black Canary, Huntress, and Renee Montoya to save a young girl from an evil crime lord.
What are we
Black
supposed
Mask
to say?
in Gotham
It's a
City.
hero. It's an anti-hero movie, and
It's-
that's really it so far.
Yeah, we So
What I do gotta give props to is that I finally got to see Ewan McGregor with the black mask on.
Oh,
Yeah.
is Ewan in this?
Yes,
Yeah,
he's
he's
playing
Black
as the
Mask.
main villain of the movie.
you
Black
know,
Mask.
there are a lot of characters, and I only listed 4 because I figured I should get the main,
You gotta listen to
women for
McGregor
female.
in there too.
Well,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
I don't really.
why?
Because it's a female-led movie, I felt we should have
But
the
he's
4
the
If you're
men.
gonna-
but
with every
there's a
superhero
limited amount of
movie-
room.
Hang on, let me explain.
I know, but with every superhero movie, you always list the main character and then you list the main
Yeah.
antagonist and then side characters.
Don't
Yeah.
say that
And
like it's a
it's-
rule. Don't say
and-
that's like a thing we
and-
do.
That's what I've always done.
When?
And
When you started pointing out that sometimes main characters aren't even mentioned in the starring thing when I put the starring thing in the trailer talk.
And-
Well,
You
yeah,
know
that's
what?
mainly
And you know
because
what?
they keep
Hang on,
listing
let me explain.
random
Let
men
me-
instead of, the female
I
main
listed
character.
everybody.
Hey, let me explain something. We need Ewan McGregor to be mentioned in something that's not Star Wars because he's just known for Star Wars. I feel like he needs to be published.
That
out
is
there.
true.
Hello
Ewan
there.
McGregor has openly
Hello
mentioned that he did have a problem with the
General
fact that
Kenobi.
yeah.
Hello there. I think seriously, like I feel like he kind of gets shafted into
I agree with
into
you.
it, and I think that he needs to be mentioned in other things than Star Wars. And-
Yeah.
He does, but typically we list 3 actors, the 3 highest bill actors. This time I did 4 because I wanted to get the main female.
Yeah, main
cast.
female is, and I get that, but I just
Guys,
set a little room.
you know what? Let's drop it.
Let's
No,
argue
it's
about
not
the
this big,
formatting
it's
of
not-
our show
No,
later.
Yeah.
hang on. No, I'm not done yet. So
Oh
I just did that in a little.
We're
just
doing this live, ladies and gentlemen.
in a little space, just a little space for Ewan McGregor because he is a good actor. Like,
Oh, yeah.
and he deserves to be credited for something in the Star Wars. I feel bad for him that he's got shafted into this, and I feel bad for him. He needs to be mentioned because he did good in the it was what was it? It was
There was a movie that I liked at the
Name it.
minute. A Life
Name
Less
it
Ordinary.
since you're being so.
so there's
loud.
Train Spotting, and then there was
A Life Less Ordinary
and
is
he
one of
did
my favorite Ewan
Trainspotting, too.
McGregor
Yeah.
ones.
And then he did the Shining remake.
Oh, right,
Dr.
Dr.
Sleep.
And that was good too.
Sequel.
So yeah, so I feel like there should be a little bit more than just because
Yeah.
everyone just remembers him as Obi-Wan. I'm like, there's more to him.
Yeah,
than
it seems
just
like right now
Obi-Wan.
he's finally starting to come out of that typecast.
And you know what? And the same thing with Margot Robbie. I feel bad for her because she gets typecasted as
Well, I mean, Margot Robbie actually has a pretty decent acting career.
she does, and I feel like, but I hate it when people get typecasted, and like I feel
That
like
is true.
Like she did really good in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood as Sharon Tate. I feel like that she doesn't get as much recognition as she probably should. And I feel like that's it. And I feel like that's a problem because she gets typecasted for being known as Harley Quinn.
I kind of felt like her role as Sharon Tate was brought up a lot, but it was because of the comparison between her and the actual
She
Sharon
looks
Tate.
identical, sure, but she did a good job as acting as Sharon Tate. Come on.
Well, yeah, she did a great job acting as Sharon Tate, of course.
So I feel bad for most actors who get typecasted. That's my thing.
But I mean, and that is fair, and it is fair for us to point out that Ewan McGregor is in this. But if Brian wants to list her, he wants to list in it. That's all on him.
I'm just messing with you.
You know what? I sent you guys the script. If you had comments on it and wanted to...
I'm offline.
You're good.
I'm offline a large chunk of the time.
And he's the one making a big deal about this. Anyway, we actually kind of gave our thoughts on this trailer earlier when we were yelling about Harley Quinn.
Yeah, there's no point talking about New Mutants at the moment because we don't have the context. So let's just jump into Brian's little segment talking about the movies that come out this week.
Releasing this week. But first up is 1917.
Which I will be going to see tonight.
Hopefully we'll get your feedback on it tomorrow morning.
Me and Nelly are going to go see that tonight, so we're going to have a fun time with watching that, I think.
Right on. During the First World War, 2 British soldiers must cross enemy territory to prevent an attack that will end in slaughter. The Rotten Tomatoes score from critics is 89%, audiences are 92%, and the general consensus is that the film has a deeply moving story with fantastic performances from the cast and impressive technical feats. I've heard particular praise for the editing and certain camera shots.
Oh yeah, because it's continuous shot. They don't really stop, and the action just keeps on going with them. So.
Like the clip that everybody sees in the trailer of the soldier just running through the field with explosions going off and everything.
And that is, very impressive. I mean, it's been done before, but it's always impressive just because of how difficult it is to pull off well.
Yeah. The only one I could think of that even comes close to this is a movie that came out, I think back in the late 70s, early 80s, I could be wrong on that, called Waterloo. Which took place during the Battle of Waterloo in like 1815, and it was a massive, huge special effects thing. I mean, like they had like literally like armies there of like the British and as the Prussians and stuff like and the French. Huge deal, huge big thing. And I think this is the only thing that 1917 is probably the only thing that will compare to it. There are some historical inaccuracies in it though.
In Waterloo or 1917?
1917.
Okay. Well, yeah.
There's like very, very small things. This story probably would have been taken better if it was actually in 1915. I feel like that was actually been a better time because 1917 was at the very tail end of the war. Mm-hmm. There's some problems because at that point 1917 is when the Americans stepped in, when we stepped in. And we were already kind of done with the war. The war was pretty much already finished by that point.
Yeah.
And the way that they're showing is that it's almost like, if we do this, a bunch of people are gonna, a lot of people are gonna die. That would have taken place in 1915, 1916, because the Allies didn't really know how to deal with the new style of combat. So there's a lot of stalemates. 1917, we had broke a lot of the stalemates. Kind of just a little bit of problem there.
I think with World War I, as long as the movie captures the feeling and sort of the brutality of the war, I don't think the actual events need to be stuck to as such. Because World War I was less about individual battles and more about just the general slaughter of this new kind of warfare.
Yeah. I mean, one of the first battles that ever took place in 1914, the Germans there was a German force going over a bridge. 500 died in about a minute and 30.
Yeah, it was Verdun was during World War I?
Verdun, yeah. Verdun was one of the battles that took place there. But yeah, anyways, that was the only thing that I saw a little bit of a problem with. And that, very historically accurate, especially for a history buff such as myself.
And people seem to be generally enjoying it.
Yeah, Ryan Barber tuned in saying that he can't wait to see 1917 when he gets the opportunity. And you know what? We'd love to hear your feedback when Parker shares his thoughts tomorrow.
Yeah, so we're going to have so I think we'll have a good time with that.
All right.
The next one.
Just Mercy, which is starring Jamie Foxx and Michael B. Jordan. The true story of a lawyer who fights to free his wrongfully convicted client who was sentenced to death on death row due to racial bias. Now that's the one since I put down there. Basically the plot is a black man is convicted of, I believe, murdering a white woman in Alabama in the 80s, and essentially he didn't actually do it, and all the evidence pointed to him not doing it, but the jury decided to convict him to life in prison, and then the judge overturned that and sentenced him to death. So it was essentially the entire court system being influenced by racism against him. And this is the story of how that happened and how his lawyer helped to free him, which I believe he eventually did in the end.
So, in a way, a very, very reminiscent not to that extent, but of To Kill a Mockingbird and whatnot.
Yes, very
Yeah.
very much. Except it happened in real life.
Yeah, it's an actual case. And was the lawyer? I don't know. So who plays the lawyer?
Michael B. Jordan. Jamie Foxx is the man accused.
Okay.
The Rotten Tomatoes score from critics is 82%. Audiences is 99%. Now, I should point out that the 99% was from last night, because that's when I was able to work on these scripts, and it was the first night of release, I believe. So it may be influenced by that, but still, pretty good.
Still high.
What's the consensus?
Consensus is that Michael B. Jordan and Jamie Foxx deliver amazing performances that help explore the cruelty and bias of the Southern legal system.
I do have to admit, the casting sounds pretty good. Michael B. Jordan and Jamie Foxx are both very great actors.
Yes.
Yep.
I love Jamie Foxx, and especially in Baby Driver. That was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that was definitely a really good role. I do gotta give him credit for that.
Yeah, I mean, also he did a really good job as portraying. Obviously, Ray Charles, he did a really good job.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And Michael B. Jordan's had sort of an impressive career, considering his first major role was in Fan Four Stick, but he managed to very quickly recover from that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was.
He was
Human
Johnny
Torch.
Storm.
Oh,
And there was a
that's
big
right.
thing of racism because comic books and black person and I hate
Yeah.
comic book fans. I hate
Yeah,
them
they
so
all-
much.
The Storm wasn't black. Yeah, well, okay.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that the audience score and the critic score are both pretty decent. I've been noticing that true story films are actually starting to do a lot better lately. They used to get like around the 40%, 50% mix usually, and now it's actually starting to bump up to like the 70s and 80s.
Well, that's also because I tend to try to take some more well-known films from the extreme ends. I believe there was another true story film that got a very much lower score this week that I didn't recognize the name.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And yeah, I do base these off more of what audiences will recognize, because the idea of this is to give you guys
the ones
some
that
idea.
The general audience of what's going on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what you might be seeing on TV in a trailer.
Yeah, you've seen ads on TV for 1917, and I've actually been seeing some for Just Mercy, though not as many.
I've been
Yeah,
seeing it
that's
more
true.
on YouTube, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, so
That's
I just
a
want
shame.
my plan here is to give you guys the knowledge, better knowledge than just studio marketing, as to whether you may actually be interested in these.
And we appreciate that.
Because studios, it's their job to market these films, and they'll market them as best as possible, and sometimes that's not representative of Suicide Squad.
So, in
Now-
the end,
Now,
Doesn't even matter.
we've reached the end of today's episode.
Nothing
We've rolled
really
over the
matters.
hour. Well, actually, no. We actually
hit the
a
hour.
little bit. Yeah.
Let's not even get into how late we are because
Because
of the
we did have technical difficulties.
technical
So-
difficulties.
but you
So
know what?
first off, I would just like to say from the bottom of my heart that I'd like to thank all of you guys
Well, it's all
out there
Catherine.
for sticking
We're not talking
around
about
while we
that.
were having issues with the whole
it
technical
always has
equipment.
this problem, and I don't know what that is about, but I'll figure it out later.
It's usually on the episodes that we're always excited about that technical difficulties pop up.
69 Big
Yes.
Hammer Lane.
Yeah, 69. We finally got a fairly sizable audience, and of course this happened. So please, sizable audience, please stay with us.
Yeah.
We don't mean it. We're sorry.
We
Well,
love
anyways,
you.
with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we reached the end
I
of
need
today's
constant praise and
episode.
approval.
I'll dye my hair if you stay.
Yeah.
Whew. I
Oh.
can't do nothing that extreme. I'm sorry. I'll shave my beard, but I'll grow it back like the next week.
No, I can't do that.
Be sure to tune in every Saturday and Sunday from 1 to 2 here on TVOSJ, the voice of San Joaquin and soon to be KBCC
Yes,
89.5 FM, Tracy, California. That is a word salad. Where we talk about all things pop culture related.
Investigate 311.
Anything from movies to video games to TV shows to comic books, you name it, ladies and gentlemen, we will do our very best to cover it. Now, with that being said, have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful.
not yet.
What? Oh,
Not yet.
interference.
I thought he.
Interference?
I honest to God thought he'd forgotten.
The Count of Monte Cristo is here, and I am your.
Stealing your phone.
What was the Count of Monte Cristo?
I am the Monte Cristo.
I am the liquor.
I am the liquor, Randy. So.
Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, have yourselves a wonderful